Hey friends, welcome in, welcome in. It's Mr. Ruby. I'm currently right now on my hardcore world. I am trying to find, or not find, but trying to make a enchantment table right now and maybe get a nether portal up and running and diamonds and whatnot. Just extra gear would be nice. But for stories, we get some pretty crazy ones. Two or three ones about cheating and like spouses keeping secrets from each other, some pretty crazy ones. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoy. Grab a snack, sit back, and relax. Let's get straight into it. This is going to be story one. My girlfriend is mad. I told her parents about her cheating. Okay, so this one is weird. My girlfriend Ava cheated on me about 6 months ago. I found out through a mutual friend, and it was a one time thing. She said she was drunk and regretted it immediately. We decided to work it through, and things have been okay since then. We moved past it, or so I thought. Last weekend, her parents were in town for her younger sister's graduation. We were all at dinner, and her dad made a joke about how Ava always gets her way. And without really thinking about it, I blurted out, "Yeah, except for that time she cheated." Everyone at the table went silent. You could hear a pin drop. Ava looked like she was going to spontaneously combust. Her parents were just staring at me. Her mom finally asked what I was talking about, so I explained it really briefly, like it happened a few months ago and we're past it now. Ava got up from the table and went to the bathroom. She didn't come back for like 15 minutes. Her parents were asking me a ton of questions about it. They were shocked. They had no idea. When Ava finally came back, she didn't say a word to me for the rest of the night. She barely spoke to her parents. The next day, she blew up at me. She said I had no right to tell them. She said that it was private and I humiliated her. She's saying she needs space and I might have ruined everything. I honestly didn't think it was a big deal since we had worked it through. I thought it was just a random comment. Now I'm wondering if I messed it up badly. Was I wrong for telling her parents? I mean, he's clearly, in my opinion, he's clearly not over it if he's still, thinking about it. And honestly, he shouldn't be. I think his only mistake was not leaving her the first time she cheated. Because, I mean, in my opinion, like, that's just not acceptable, man. Because she will probably do it again. I mean, to be honest, man, that's just I I can understand why he said that though to her parents. Because I mean, I would have done the same thing, honestly. It's unfortunate, man. Cheaters suck. Cheaters really suck. All right, guys, let's get on to the next story. All right, this is going to be story two. My wife tried to convince me her baby was mine. The DNA test changed everything. Throwaway because people know my name. I, 31 male, was now married to my now ex-wife, 29 female, for 5 years. I thought we had a solid marriage. I worked full time while she finished school, and we were even talking about starting a family. About 8 months ago, I started to notice little things. She became super protective over her phone and was studying late several nights a week. And if I questioned anything, she'd tell me I was insecure or controlling. Everything came crashing down when I found hotel receipts with her name on them that had been paid for by my boss through his company accounts. I confronted her, and after hours of lying, she finally admitted she'd been sleeping with him for months. I moved out that weekend and filed for divorce. About 6 weeks later, she called me crying and told me she was pregnant. She insisted the baby was mine, and both of our families immediately started telling me I needed to step up and be there for my child. The timeline didn't make any sense, so I told her I'd gladly accept responsibility if we did a DNA test after the baby was born. She got angry and accused me of not trusting her, but eventually we agreed. Well, oh, okay, sorry guys, but of course. Oh, dude, how is she gonna get? Oh my god, that pisses me off. That pisses me off. How is she gonna get angry? She's the one who cheated. Dude. She is the one. Oh, okay. You know what? Let's just get back to the video. The DNA results came back. I wasn't the father. My boss was. That one DNA test basically destroyed the fantasy they built. His wife found out during the divorce proceedings, divorced him immediately, and his company fired him after an internal investigation uncovering multiple inappropriate relationships with the employees. Meanwhile, I focused on myself. I got back in the gym, earned new certifications, switched careers, and nearly doubled my income within a year. A few months ago, my ex reached out saying she'd made the biggest mistake of her life and asked if we could talk. I simply I simply replied, the DNA test answered more than one question. Then I blocked her. Last I hear, she's raising the child alone because my former boss disappeared as soon as the child support became real. I never imagined losing my marriage would end up being the best thing that ever happened to me. Nothing too crazy, I guess. Am I crazy for being glad of her struggle? Like, I'm glad karma became real to get her ass. Dude, that is crazy. It was his boss. It was his boss, and then his boss gets fired. Oh my, the karma is crazy. And then now I mean, I hate to say it, but she has like no one. That's got to be some crazy karma, dude. Trash just takes it itself out sometimes, man. We'll say. All right, guys, let's get on to the next story. All right, this is going to be story 3. My wife has been secretly homeschooling our daughter a completely different religion for 3 years. I found out from my own kid. I need to explain this carefully because it still doesn't feel real to me. My wife, we'll call her Melissa, has handled most of our daughter's schooling since we made the decision to homeschool when she was 7. I work long hours. She manages the curriculum, and I trusted that completely because Melissa has always been organized and thorough about everything. Our daughter is 10 now. Last weekend, we were at my parents' house for Sunday dinner, which has always included grace before the meal, standard stuff we've done our entire life. My daughter out of nowhere asked if she could say different kind of blessing instead. One she said she always says at home. Then she recited something none of us had ever heard before, in a tone like it was completely normal, something she'd clearly said hundreds of times. My mom looked at me confused. I looked at Melissa's, and Melissa's face went pale. Later that night, I asked my daughter more questions gently, trying to understand what I just witnessed. She told me completely casually that she and mom do real school stuff in the mornings, and then in the afternoons they do spiritual studies, which involve specific readings, specific practices, and specific beliefs entirely different from the faith Melissa and I have always practiced together as a couple. I confronted Melissa immediately. She admitted everything. 3 years ago, she'd quietly started exploring a different belief system on her own, something she'd never once mentioned to me before. And instead of ever bringing it up to me, she began incorporating it directly into our daughter's homeschooling curriculum every single day for 3 years without me knowing anything. She said, and I'm quoting this exactly, I didn't think you'd understand. So it was just easier to keep it separate. Separate meaning hidden. Separate meaning our daughter has spent 3 years being raised in part on a belief I never agreed to, never discussed, and never even knew existed in our house. I asked her how she managed to hide something this significant for 3 years straight. She said she simply used the mornings for anything I might ask about or check on, and kept the afternoons when I was always still at work for everything else. I'm not upset about the specific beliefs themselves. I'm upset that my wife made a fundamental decision about how our child is being raised, spiritually and educationally, and ran an entire secret curriculum under my own roof for 3 years, rather than ever including me in conversation. We are currently sleeping in separate rooms while we figure out what's going to happen next. Our daughter has no idea of any of this being a problem, since to her this has simply been normal life the entire time. So tell me this. Is this a conversation we can actually recover from? Or did hiding this for 3 years already answer that question? Dude, that's fucking insane, bro. Are you what the fuck? Dude, you should not be that's like I feel like that's kind of cultish. Like, am I wrong in saying that's really you're secretly teaching your kid a different religion than you and your husband's religion you would normally like that feels really cultish. That should be that doesn't seem okay. That is clearly not okay, and there needs to be a serious discussion about that. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if, they would split apart from that because that's 3 years of hiding something. All right, guys, let's get on to the next story. All right, this is going to be story 4. Come on, you don't only lose $15, said to a broke kid doing a fundraiser. I sell handmade jewelry for a farmer's market. I sell to help my marching band team play for fees and stuff. I have Katie ties for $15. They take like 150 beads and 30 minutes for me to make. They are very hard work, so I sell them for $15. Well, Karen comes up with her kid. Her kid holds out a $1 bill and says, "Can I buy that?" while pointing to the tie. I tell her, "It's $15." Normally, I would go down for kids, but the funds from the ties often go to materials and band gear. And I'm also broke, and I really need the money. I figured out, I figured her mom would buy it for her, but nope. Karen leans in on the table and goes, "Come on, she's 5 years old. It's her birthday. Can't she get it for free?" I gently told her, "No, I'm really sorry, but I'm selling this to pay for band gear, and this is a fundraiser." Karen starts fuming. "Come on, don't be rude. My child wants the tie. Just give it to her." I told her again. I told her no. Then she had the audacity to say, "Come on, it's only $15. You're not losing much. Where's your mother? I bet she'll have common sense." My mom was getting food for us at the time, so I said to the lady, "Lady, you're out of luck. Pay the 15 or leave." She left, but it was so weird. You're a grown ass woman. Pay for it yourself. Dude, I I sometimes I feel like entitled people, Karens especially, like are just so out of touch. Like, they're just so like they just think they can take everything for themselves and they don't owe anything, nobody anything. It's so frustrating because they don't care. They don't care about anybody else, and it's just like, why? Why are you acting like this? Please. Oh gosh. All right, guys. Let's go on to the next story. All right, this is going to be story number 5. Breaking up with my boyfriend after finding out what he was doing while I was asleep. I'm 21 female, and my boyfriend is 23 male. We've been together for almost 2 years, and until recently, I genuinely thought he was the person I was going to marry. We lived together in a small apartment, and for most of the part, we had a really good relationship. About 3 months ago, he started acting differently. He became really protective of his phone, and if I walked into the room while he was texting, he'd immediately lock it. He also started sleeping with his phone underneath his pillow. I asked him about it once, and he laughed it off, saying I was being paranoid. I trusted him, so I dropped it. Then one night, I woke up around 3 a.m. because I couldn't sleep. He wasn't beside me. I walked into the living room and I saw him sitting on the sofa with his phone. He looked up and immediately locked it. I asked what he was doing. He said he couldn't sleep, so I didn't think much of it. But the next morning, I noticed something strange. He changed his phone password. That's when I started to get suspicious. A week later, he told me he was going out with his friends. He got dressed up more than usual, put on some cologne, and spent about half an hour doing his hair. I joked, "Who are you trying to impress?" He laughed, "Obviously you." He left around 8 p.m. At around midnight, I received a message from an unknown number. It said, "You really need to ask your boyfriend where he was tonight." I thought it was someone messing with me. I replied, "Who is this?" They didn't answer. Instead, they sent me a photo. It was my boyfriend standing outside a hotel with another woman. I felt sick. I called him immediately. No answer. I called again. Nothing. At around 2 a.m., he finally came home. I showed him the photo. He just stared at it. Then he said something I wasn't expecting. "That's my sister." I didn't believe him. He told me she'd recently moved back to the country. He hadn't told me because they'd had a huge argument. I asked why they were outside a hotel. He said she was staying there temporarily. I wanted to believe him, so I did. For about 3 days. Then I found the same woman on Instagram. She wasn't his sister. She was someone he'd worked with. I confronted him, and he finally admitted he lied. But he swore that they hadn't slept together. He said they'd only been talking, and I asked why he was meeting her at the hotel. He said, "Because I knew you'd get upset." Alright, pause. That is some bullshit. This guy is a piece of shit, and he's a cheater. Like, dude, are you what staying 2 a.m. at night with a woman that is not your partner? Okay, okay, yeah, sure. "Oh, I knew you'd get upset. She's just a friend." Bull, get the fuck out of here. This guy's a real piece of shit. Sorry, guys, that just kind of pissed me off. Let's get back to the story. That sentence completely broke something inside me. Not because of the hotel, because he had already decided that hiding things from me was easier than telling me the truth. I packed my bag and I went to stay with my mom. He called me constantly, hundreds of messages. He kept saying he loved me and that he'd made one stupid mistake. Then 2 days later, the other one contacted me. She sent me screenshots. Apparently, they've been talking for 6 months. There were messages from the night when I'd be lying next to him in bed, messages he'd sent when I was asleep. And then I saw something that made me realize the hotel wasn't even the worst part. One message from him said, "She has no idea I'm planning to leave her." Dude, that's fucked. That's so fucked up. I stared at that message for ages because I'd been sitting at the home thinking I was trying to save our relationship. Meanwhile, he already decided it was over. I didn't confront him about the screenshot. I just sent him one message: "You don't have to worry about leaving me anymore. I've already left." Then I blocked him. He eventually contacted my mom and asked her to convince me to talk to him. She said no. It's been 3 weeks now. I still miss him, and that's the part I'm struggling with because I know how he treated me horribly, but I still miss the person I thought he was. So Reddit, should I give him another chance? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I know that's beyond painful for having that relationship for how long did it say, like 3 years or something like that, and then to have that just ripped from you entirely by your partner that you thought you were going to marry. Dude, that's I couldn't imagine that. It must be just heartbreaking, but it's too late, man. Like he's already done for the relationship. Clearly, there's no going back. There is no going back into that relationship. All she would think the best thing to do is just to move on and push forward and improve yourself, not because of him, but for yourself. Oh man, that's unfortunate. All right, guys, that is going to be the end of the video. I hope you all have enjoyed the story so far. I really do appreciate all the support. And if you do like the videos, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe. It really does mean a lot. Other than that, guys, please stay safe out there, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.